I think we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you all for our last meeting of 2020. Goodbye, 2020.
Good riddance.
Right. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Okay, so in terms of just kind of an opening question, we'll go around and just briefly everyone tell me your favorite holiday tradition, whatever holiday you celebrate. And if you don't celebrate, then just your favorite thing you like to do at the end of December. So I'll start. I'm going to skip ahead to New Year's Eve. So a couple years ago, I introduced my sons to the Three Stooges, and they have a Three Stooges marathon on New Year's Eve. And now this is what they look forward to every year. Can we stay up until midnight and watch the Three Stooges? So it's a fun thing to do. So I'm just going to call on you as you appear on my screen. So Sherry Ogan.
We don't have one because our Christmases have always been defined by traveling to family. And I guess, my husband went to Virginia and I went to North Carolina for years. We're going to start a new tradition. This year is the very first Christmas we are having together in our home.
Oh, that's nice.
We're able to have a tree for the very first time. So even though we're not going to see family, we have, I hope, a new tradition of being able to celebrate the holiday season at home. And I made latkes the other night for Hanukkah too.
Nice. All right, thanks. Teresa.
We open gifts at midnight on the 24th. So we stay up till midnight. So now I torture my son with that.
Yeah.
It's great.
That sounds like fun. Thanks. Benny.
My family connects by playing games. So whenever we're together, we play like elaborate board games. Both of my brothers work in board game stores.
Oh, wow.
And so they always have like the newest, most exciting, most elaborate games that are hard to learn the rules to. And so we just like play games for like hours, and it's my favorite thing in the whole world. And it's very difficult to do over Zoom. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, that would be hard to do over Zoom. Nicole.
Me and the kids, which I really enjoy, we all picked something that we're gonna make on Christmas morning, either for breakfast or dinner. So we're all in the kitchen making something all day, which I appreciate because I know they wouldn't appreciate if I did everything by myself. So everyone is looking like, what did you think of that meal? What did you think of that? So I really like to do that with them.
Great, thank you. Kim.
Well, it was going down to cut down our own tree, but I feel like that's going to change next year. As this year we've discovered that, I was telling you earlier, my husband is apparently allergic to our Christmas tree and has poison ivy head to toe.
Oh.
So 2021 is going to be the start of my new favorite thing at the holidays.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, I hope he's doing better. Jeremy.
Yeah, so normally my wife's family comes up, they're Italian, and we do the Feast of the Seven Fishes, but we don't do it on Christmas Eve because everybody likes to be at their own house. So we usually do it the weekend before. Of course, this year they're not coming, but we're still going to do it. So I bought my bacalhau at Farmland this morning. For those of you who don't know, this is dry salted cod. It is very good when my wife makes it into a salad with, olive oil and roasted red peppers and the green olives and stuff. So we will continue the Feast of the Seven Fishes.
Fantastic. It sounds delicious. Jen.
Typically, my husband's family, we do like a Christmas Eve thing, kind of like an open house, drop in, drop out, lots of apps. But we always do like a Yankee swap. So that's something to look forward to because it's kind of turned into like gag gift Yankee swap. So it's fun.
I like it.
This year, but.
Oh, sorry.
Hi. Usually I'm traveling this time of year. So last year I was in Arizona for my brother's wedding, and usually I'm just not around. But when I am around, we don't celebrate Christmas, but I love all the traditions. And so my favorite tradition is the sales after Christmas. And I'm a big fan of just going and buying all the candy and all the gifts and regifting them later, but at 75% off. So I haven't been in a mall in 9 months, so we'll see how online local businesses do.
I like it. And as someone who has a birthday between Christmas and New Year's, my parents can definitely tell you how they bought all my birthday presents the days after Christmas and for a huge discount. All right, thanks, Maureen. Faith.
Usually my family, we like all go over to my aunt's house and then we do the Yankee swap. But this year we're not gonna all go to her house, but we're still doing the swap. We're just gonna open the presents on Zoom, which I feel will be exciting in its own way.
Good. And Amy.
Hello.
Hi.
I would say a fun tradition is all my high school girlfriends and I get together every year, with the exception of this year, of course, and we do a Yankee swap. And this year we are mailing gifts to one another, and we're going to open them via Zoom on the 23rd. So kind of keeping it alive still.
I like it. Making the best out of out of a crazy year. So, all right, thank you. Thanks, everyone. So we have Maria Citro. I don't know if this is the part of the public participation. You are welcome to say something, or if you are just here to observe, that's fine too. If you want to say your favorite tradition, you can do that too.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I meant to attend last month and missed it because I don't know what day it is most of the time. And so I'm glad to be here. I was not sure if this is, I mean, the Zoom is open to everyone, so hopefully it's okay that I'm here, and that's great.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to be here. Bought a home in Wakefield in last February. So just wanting to be a part of the community. I'm a social worker and just happy to be here. Starting new traditions, probably hopefully something with my niece, who's 2.5, maybe some cookies and delivering those to people since we won't be together this year. So.
Great. Well, thank you. We're happy to have you, and welcome to Wakefield.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So moving to the next item on the agenda, the approval of minutes from the November 17th meeting. Did anybody have any edits or anything like that that they wanted to add?
Maria, did we have to do an official like attendance or anything?
Oh, did I think.
A roll call.
Yeah, a roll call. Okay, so yes, Benny, do you have, so I have Sherry, myself, yes. Teresa, Benny, Nicole, Kimberly, Jeremy, Jen, Faith, Maureen, Amy, and Maria Citro as the member of the public.
I just wasn't sure if that was like an official thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
thank you. Okay, and so yeah, any edits?
I had just sent Benny one edit when she first sent it out, and so it was just that I think Ann Santos was listed as attended, but it was a holdover from the last one, so to strike that. Otherwise, I was good.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve then?
Motion to approve.
All right, and a second? Nicole, thank you. Okay, with a roll call vote, so myself, yes. Sherry?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Benny?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Faith?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
And Amy?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, so moving on, the new member orientation. So I think everyone I think everyone has gone through the orientation, and I sent out the slides that that Jen and Sherry used at the orientation. I think there were a couple changes that they had made after going through the orientation last month with all of you and with Kimberly at a separate meeting. So now, having gone through the whole orientation, do people have do they have feedback that they want to give? Any thoughts, any questions, things that you would like to see a little different? So please feel free to speak up.
One thing we were pleased about was that we got very good feedback on the length of it. We were aiming for under a half hour, and it came in at about 20 minutes, which we thought was a quite appropriate amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for this is a question for everyone, but in particular the newer members. Do you feel like you have a better sense of the workings of the Human Rights Commission in terms of the history and kind of the policies that we follow and the procedures for various things like reimbursements or anything along those lines?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Very clear.
And do keep in mind, this is an evolving document. So as things change or we're able to improve upon procedures or policies, so will the text, which is why the slides are so generic and graphic without all the answers to the questions, because the answers to the questions might change a bit.
Yeah, so just one thing I would bring up is to just make in the notes. So normally this would be given probably in April or May, right? When new commissioners come on board. So I would just make a note that we should, whoever is the current on the commission should look at it February, March or so, and just make sure everything's up to date, or if anything for the year happened, that might be a good picture link, whatever, the document storage that's being worked on, maybe that link needs to go in there when it's done, just to make sure we, like you said, Sherry, that we keep it live and updated and current, so that you guys don't have to, nobody has to go back and start from scratch like you guys did for this. So
I think that's a great
That's smart.
suggestion that we should actually put on our operations calendar at which time of the year we take a good look so it's ready in time for our new commissioners.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. And this is something I'm hoping every year, generally the chair of the Human Rights Commission will give a kind of a report to town council and school committee. And this is something that I have to reach out to them to see if they want me to come in January or when would be best. But I certainly will bring this training with them to show them what we've been working on. And yeah, I'm excited to give them kind of the overview of, because I feel like a big new implementation that we've done. So I'm really excited about it. Okay, so does it make sense to vote on it, or because it's an evolving document, do you think that we should wait? What are your thoughts on that?
I guess it'd be like, what is the vote to do? Say we're going to implement this as is, knowing that it can change over time, right? So it's not binding to say like this must be the orientation for henceforth, right? So
it's written in stone.
Yeah. But I think so. To me, is the vote to say like this is good for now. This is something we feel like we can use going forward. We can certainly say we should look at it again every February, March to make sure it's ready for April again if anything has changed. But assuming that not much has changed between now and April, like this is the version we will plan to use for the next cycle, and then I guess we vote then annually again to say like here's the edits we're making, or make. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's what we would vote on is whether or not we want to make this part of our policies and procedures that each new member, each new commissioner go through this orientation. Not so much that we approve that, but go through the orientation developed to bring them on board. I think
Okay.
that's more of what we need to really approve. Is it
Okay.
something that we should have as part of our regular policies and procedures?
Okay, so given that, I think what we should probably do, and I'm happy to add this to the policies and procedures. I can write up something to add to it, and then prior to next month's meeting, I'll send it out to everyone, and then so everyone can. I mean, it will be brief. It will be very short, but just basically to add it formally to the policies and procedures. Everyone can read it over prior to the meeting, and then we can vote on it at the January meeting. Does that make sense?
Works for me.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
Great.
And just like the open meeting training, this would become part of the preparation and training.
Right. All right. Okay. So I apologize. I should have taken out this next agenda item because we already did wrap up the Indigenous Peoples Day donation.
No, I had asked you to put that on there.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, go ahead.
Well, so because it is not wrapped up, I don't really know what to do next. So I had contacted the principals of the 4 schools. They said, okay, fill out this form or whatever. They kind of each one responded with a different version of what had to happen. So I filled out the form, the donation form, I sent it back to them. And I think they said they had to bring it to the school committee maybe, but then now I don't know what's supposed to happen next. The books are still sitting on my table. I don't actually know. And I never heard back from them. I can certainly contact them again to see did the donation get approved or I guess I don't really understand what exactly is happening behind the scenes with the donation process.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's something that they have to accept as a gift, in which case they'd have to go in front of the school committee, but I don't know. I can check with Colleen. Colleen wasn't able to come to the meeting tonight, but she said to let her know if there were any issues that we wanted her to discuss with school committee. So I can ask her about if she knows anything in terms of donating. Is it just 1 book per school?
It's 2 books per school.
2 books per school. Okay.
I thought we talked about doing that as being invited to the school committee to present that, to do a whole
Yeah,
thing,
that was the
right?
other thing I wanted to check in about because we had talked about having sort of making sort of a thing of it.
Okay.
But I don't know what needs to happen in order to do that, or I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, and it might make sense if at some point in the new year that as the chair, I'm going to the school committee, then it might make sense to bring those 2 things together if we wanted to go at the same time. So let me check in with Colleen about that process and see what she says, and I'll get back to you, Benny, about that. Is that all right? Okay. Okay. Anything else about Indigenous Peoples Day? Okay. All right, Benny, you're up again for the update on the Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King event subcommittee.
Let's see. So breaking news, we just met immediately before this meeting. So let's see, updates. Everything is very exciting. We have some exciting creative things happening for the keynote speaker, which is going to be Faith Defendre. And maybe also Raina, I'm not totally sure, but yay! So Faith, I don't know, do you want to share a little bit what you were sharing with us about what you were thinking of for your portion of it?
Sure, of course. So along with the speech that I wanted to give first, I also wanted to just conduct an interview with the people of Wakefield and just pretty much talk about our theme of our whole celebration and ask people what compassion means to them and how they contribute to compassion. Showing compassion in Wakefield and how, they feel compassion from people in Wakefield. And I just wanted to ask multiple different people, people from schools if you're a student, a teacher, I wanted to ask the small business owners that we might have, wanted to ask the everyday parents and moms, just a complete representation of people. So that way, when we put it into a we could put it into like a big like video and show people. That was what I was thinking. And I don't know, that's what we talked about the last meeting that we had a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, the theme for the event is compassionate action, take compassionate action, which is based on a Coretta Scott King quote that I probably can't remember right now. Maybe somebody else can remember it. It's about like the measure of a community is about the like compassionate action that people take to support that community or something. That's a terrible butchering, but anyway. So that's the take compassionate action.
Jen Besher looks like she's looking it up on her second screen.
Oh, no. I just think it's a great sentiment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's the theme. And so we have the keynote, the sort of compilation of interviews that Faith was talking about. There's going to be some other contributions from some high schoolers who are going to be bringing like poetry, spoken word, other pieces of performance or things like that. There's going to be hopefully like a art display, like have sort of still pictures of art that's like scrolling through. This is all going to be a remote event, right? So it's all pre-recorded. So there's going to be artwork that's kind of interspersed among the different speaking portions. And the artwork hopefully is going to come from a art contest that we're sending out through the schools. We're gonna solicit, art of any medium that people want to submit. What else? There's going to be the service awards, which we've started receiving. We've gotten a couple of nominations for the service awards, but definitely could use some more nominations. So feel free to push it to your networks or whatever. It's up on our Facebook page if you want to point.
Yeah, we could probably reshare that. It's probably a good idea too.
Yeah, resharing it I think would be good.
Yeah.
But if anybody wants to point someone towards it, it's on our Facebook page. There's like just like a Google form that you submit some information to nominate somebody.
It's
So
in
the
the
service
item.
What'd you say?
The item had written it up the middle of last week.
Yeah, I submitted it to the item, and I also submitted it to the principals at the different schools so that they could send it out in their like newsletter or whatever communication they do with the families.
Yep.
I found the quote.
Oh yeah.
You want me to read it while you're thinking next?
Do it, yeah.
So this is by Coretta Scott King, and we thought it would be good because usually everybody's always quoting Martin Luther King and not, or Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. So hers is, the greatness of a community is accurately measured by the compassionate action of its members.
Yeah.
That is the quote.
Thanks, Nicole. So what else? So the service awards, we're gonna do that portion of it differently from how it's been done in past years. So we're gonna have a more like a panel discussion with the 3 award recipients and a moderator, sort of having more of a conversation with them about like, how did you get involved in service? Like, how has it affected your life? Like, I don't know, different questions like that to make it a little bit more like interactive and conversationally, instead of a series of speeches. What else? Art, keynote, service awards. We're planning a service project that's going to be, instead of like everybody coming together in a big group to do a service project together, we're going to be encouraging people to do service to the community independently. So we're sort of compiling a list of potential opportunities where people can like volunteer or get involved and things like that, which is a little challenging because so many places are not taking volunteers right now. But anyway, we're compiling a list as best we can of opportunities for people to get involved in the community. And then we're talking about having sort of like a sort of extended service project going through March or something like that, where people can like take a picture of yourself and like hashtag, you know, like Wakefield service or whatever the hashtag's going to be, and sending it to, you know, tagging our Facebook page and things like that, so that people can kind of still have a little bit of togetherness feeling in their service project. So those are the components that we've talked about so far.
I love it.
Should be exciting.
It's fantastic. So
Can I ask a
given
question?
that, oh, sorry, what?
I just had a question. I think it all sounds amazing, and I love the idea of like all these pre-recorded things. Like, how are you pulling all that? Is that something that you're working with WCAT on, or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. I think the plan, instead of having people go to WCAT to film the segments, though, the plan is for people to film their own segments for the most part.
Like
Like the panel discussion thing might be filmed over like a Zoom or something that you record, but something like that. And then so we'll submit a bunch of video to them, and they will help us like edit and produce it.
Fantastic. It's a great community partnership there too.
I'm so excited because the thought of editing a lot of video like made me sort of terrified.
It's daunting. Yes, absolutely. I don't blame you. I also love, and I don't know if this was intentional, but I love that this kind of ties in also with the program that the library is doing.
Yeah.
The next phase of their commit to their community is about compassion. So it all kind of ties together again. That's fantastic. So between now and, so our next meeting is the day after Martin Luther King Day. Do you need anything from any of us? Any additional help or support or anything like that? And yeah, if you do, you can let us know now, or let us know, get in touch with any of us individually over email.
I volunteer to do any writing you might need for promotions.
Good to know.
I'm good at video too, if anybody needs any help with that.
Say that again.
I'm good with video too, if anybody needs any help with that.
Great.
Good to know. I love it.
And then in terms of promoting it in the lead up, obviously we'll post it to our Facebook page. And if you want, if you want any help reaching out to either Jen McDonald or anyone else to help publicize it leading up to the day, let us know.
Can I ask, sorry.
That's okay.
What is, so was it going to be if it's a pre-recorded, it's not like it's going to go out like Facebook Live or something, right? So are we just posting it like a recorded video to our feed on Facebook, or I'm assuming it might also be being run on WCAT, or I guess what is the distribution plan?
I don't know. We haven't really talked about that.
Okay.
I think it's a good question. I think, one of the big things is to have it at a certain time be aired on WCAT if we can, because that's great media for the town and everybody, and they're going to have a big input in it. And I guess probably not put it out until that is aired, right? Because it doesn't make any sense to put it out beforehand, right? I mean, we don't want people getting a leg up on anybody. But then after it's aired, obviously then put it, everywhere. And one thing, Benny, we just talked about was tying the scavenger hunt that we had talked about before into the community service project, because I don't think we have time before the event to really put together a really good scavenger hunt. So we talked about having the clues of the scavenger hunt lead to some of the larger or more prolific places to do community service, like, the Boys and Girls Club or the food pantry, or, some of the homeless shelter type things, and have good clues of them. That way we only have to roll that out the day of, and then people have sort of the next few months to do their service project and the scavenger hunt part too. So that's the plan.
Go ahead, Sherry.
Do we have anything formal or traditional that we do in February? And I'll tell you why I'm asking in a second.
We don't have anything that we've done in years past. I know in our last meeting how we had talked about doing different book readings around different either months or holidays. I think there's a possibility that we might do book readings for Black History Month. But aside from that, is there something else that you were thinking of?
Well, as Jeremy and Benny was speaking, I was thinking in terms of the community projects, February is Valentine's Day. So why not show your love to your community by volunteering?
Yeah.
And make that sort of a traditional thing in February that we promote during the month of February, to show your love to your community by volunteering.
I like it. All right. Thanks, Sherry. Anyone else? Any other updates for the program? It sounds amazing. I'm so excited. Okay. For the next agenda item, Faith, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you want to talk about the fundraiser for the Black Student Union and any other updates?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay.
So, this Thursday we are having a fundraiser at Fuddruckers, the one in Reading, I'm pretty sure, and all the 20% of everyone's meals who show their flyer will be donated to the Black Student Union, and we are actually planning on giving most of the money to, I'm trying to remember what organization it was. I think it's Cradles to Crayons or Crayons. Yeah.
Oh, great organization.
We are also gathering masks to contribute to our school is actually holding a mask drive right now. So we're gathering as many masks as we can, reusable cloth ones, so we can donate that to Cradles to Crayons. So that's what we're working on right now. I can send the flyer out and email it to anybody who wants to be emailed. And if you showed up, that would mean the world to like all of us and everything, especially everything. Building on what Benny had said about students from our club participating in the MLK event, tomorrow we are having a meeting to actually like figure it out and clarify what's actually going on and who's participating and everything. So, and like just talk about deadlines and all that. So after tomorrow, I can get back with you about who's like literally what's going on and just a more clarified version of everything that's going on.
Great.
Mhm.
Thank you. Jen, you had a question?
Yeah. So I know sometimes when folks do the Fuddruckers Dining for Dollars things, there's sometimes like a table or something. Are you physically going to be there, or is it just a show your flyer kind of thing?
It's gonna be
Somebody was asking me questions if they could donate without buying food. I was like, I don't know if I'll be there.
Sadly, because of COVID, we
Yeah,
can't
that's what I figured.
set up, which is so
Okay.
sad. But we are trying to have at least one of like the officers be there like throughout the whole time, so that way,
Okay.
and they'll make themselves clear, like, and be in the front. But we're not allowed to set up a table this year or anything.
Okay. Because if somebody did want to donate to your cause without going to Fuddruckers, is there a way for them to do that?
The best thing to do, honestly, would be to email either us if they want to email Fuddruckers and tell them about it. Yeah, they could totally email me. I know my club advisor, Miss Smith, I can give you her email and you could pass it along to them, but that's something that can definitely happen.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then, yeah, I had one quick question, Faith. I had posted the flyer on our Facebook page. If people wanted to print it out from that, is that, I'm assuming that's acceptable? Is that?
Yeah, you can even show it on your phone. Like,
oh, okay.
if you show it on your phone, that's completely fine. Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, if anybody needs it emailed to them, get in touch with Faith directly. Otherwise, you can go to our Facebook page if you're on Facebook, and you can use that. So, all right, thanks, Faith.
No problem.
So Yana was not able to make it tonight, so we'll hold off on any youth council updates until next month. For the Metco event, so last Friday there was, oh my God, I'm blanking. I can't remember if it was the 20th anniversary of Metco. There was an event, or maybe it was just a year-end event that I went to that was phenomenal. And it was obviously all virtual, and they were giving awards to various Metco staff members who were retiring, and they were also talking about, they did a whole, like a number of different videos about the history of the Metco program and what they had done over the course of this year. And it was amazing to watch, because even having gone through the Wakefield school system, where the Metco program was in existence when I was there, and with it being still in our schools now, I just feel like I know very little about the Metco program. And so I was really, it was such a great thing to learn about. And coincidentally, earlier in the day, I had a phone call with Angela Driggers and Glavia Smith from the Metco program. And I'm so excited because Glavia has, she told me, and she's come to all of the school PTO meetings over the past couple weeks, to say that in Wakefield, they're starting a family partnership program where families in Wakefield can kind of partner up with Metco families whose children are going to the Wakefield schools. And right now, it's because of COVID, it's kind of limited in terms of what people can do. But as things start opening up more, it's a number of different opportunities to help out these students. So for example, if they have extracurricular activities that don't start for 2 or 3 hours after school ends, it's letting them hang out at your house or bringing them snacks while they're hanging out at school. It's rides to the T. If it's, obviously there's only a bus that leaves right after school and there's not another opportunity to get back. So it allows them to be able to participate and feel more a part of the school and the community, to be able to do these extracurricular activities, knowing that they have a way to get home when that activity is over. And so having had that conversation with her earlier in the day, and then seeing this Metco program and all of these host families that were on this call, I literally, I was choked up. I was so excited about this program. So I just, Glavia just sent me the write-up about the program yesterday. So I will email it to all of you. And I'm also just going to double check. I had asked her last week if we could put it on our Facebook page, and I'm pretty sure that she's okay with that. So let me just double check with her about that, and then we can start advertising it, because I just think this would be such a great bridge between the families of students here in Wakefield and the families of the Metco students. I just love the idea of this connection being made. So just wanted to let everyone know about that. And I don't think that it's limited to families who have kids in the school system. I think anyone that's interested can do it. So yeah, just letting you all know. And this is something that I told her going forward, like anything that we can do to help publicize it, to start other partnerships around this, that we're excited to be involved. So.
I actually spoke to her today too.
Oh, okay.
Because I was trying to follow up about another question we had about the list that we wanted to come up with resources for to volunteer.
Yeah.
And she did share that information, and she did say that she feels that there's different ways that people can volunteer.
Yep.
So she was kind of happy that we were talking about it and sharing that information. So.
Yep. Yeah, and in the write-up, there's I believe there's a link to a Google form that you can fill out and just say kind of what volunteer opportunities that you're able to do, your contact information, what schools, if you're affiliated with any of the Wakefield schools, which ones you're affiliated with. So it's a pretty easy process to fill out the form. And I also told her about the kind of the informal network of Black and biracial families that we had put together a few months ago. And she was excited about that idea because she felt like the Metco families might feel a little more comfortable if there was more of a diversity of families involved on the Wakefield side. And so I connected her with Teray Howell, and we're kind of working on that connection as well. So really good things in the works. So does anybody have any questions or anything about that?
Sounds awesome.
All right.
I can just say, like, I was doing this, let's see, probably maybe about 7 years, for about 7 years, probably when, uh, maybe until last year, I was kind of hosting a few families, helping to get to the tea and doing things like that. And it's very, I mean, I think the kids were great, and it was definitely something that I think is very needed, and they're super appreciative of the help. And I think also you get to know who your kids' friends are, and even if they're not friends, you still are building some sort of relationship. So whatever, if you guys, if any of you guys decide to do it, I think it's a very rewarding um, part of the community, showing compassion to the community, part of our community as well.
Great, thanks, Nicole. Yeah, and just thinking about it as you were talking, I realized it was definitely not the 20th anniversary of Metco's celebration, because Metco's been in existence far longer than that. And I definitely was in high school far more than 20 years ago. So just a year in review kind of event. Okay, so for the next, in terms of chair's comments, I don't have any updates in terms of the electronic storage. I have to check in again with IT to see. I know that there were a couple different options that they were exploring, and I hadn't heard anything back. So I will circle back with them and hopefully have something to report at the next meeting. And then for book readings for the upcoming year, I know we had talked about it briefly at the last meeting, and wanted to see what people thought about, it's still a little ways off, but for Black History Month in February, organizing some book readings around that, if people were interested in that. All right. So in terms of organizing this, I'm happy to take the lead on this and can reach out to the library if they have booklet. I mean, I know there are a ton of books to choose from. And so if do people think the library is the best place to start, or other resources that you think I should look into?
I have a friend who used to be a New England Patriot who wrote a book called Dear Black Boy. That's a great book. I have 2 copies here. I bought one for the Suffolk Library, and then we went into COVID. And so I have 2 copies here, and that's a great one.
Okay. Do you think he'd be willing to read it?
I can ask him.
Okay.
I can ask him. He may.
That would be great.
He actually, I have a video of him reading it during my class at Suffolk too, that I can edit out, like the speech in the beginning, because it's a little mature, because they were college students. But I have his live reading. It's Martellus Bennett, and I have his reading at the end. I can play with it this weekend and see if I can clip it down, and that would be a good video to share. And he's very good about resharing if he's tagged and mentioned and all of those things. So
okay, that's great to know. And is it a children's book or young adult or children's book?
Children.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So could we have, like, maybe if we have that one more for like the children, the young adults, companion book for the adults to read maybe as well? So there's 2, like I know Malden reads, they always have like their main book, and they have a few companion books so everyone is able to read along the same topic, kind of a thing.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's possible, or.
Yeah, that's certainly something that we can do. Originally, I was thinking something that we did similar to Indigenous Peoples Day, where we had like 4 different readings, but that doesn't mean that it has to be the same every time. So if we want to talk more about what you're suggesting, Nicole, something that the community can read, I'm certainly not opposed to that. I think
I'm sorry, I confused. I'm sorry, I apologize. So
no.
I completely forgot about, that's right, because Benny and Yana were reading online. I forgot that's what you were talking about. I'm sorry.
No.
But I think they put together like a reading list, right? So it was like, we're doing this not interactive, but kids book readings that you can show your kids, right? But then there was also links to more information and like a suggested reading list, right? For further information or knowledge for adults, not just kids books, right? Benny? But I think we put that out at the end. So maybe if this is, Black History Month, we put out sort of like, here's a reading list in the beginning, and we're going to have some things throughout the month, right, that we're going to do.
Yeah. It makes sense to me to go to the library because that's what they do.
Right.
We wouldn't need to reinvent the wheel.
And they probably are going to have their own. Like,
well, maybe we can coordinate something with them.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I will circle back to, or I'll check in with the library and see what I don't know what their capacity is now that they are right in the middle of their commit to their community program. So, but yeah, at the very least, they should have book suggestions that we can start with and go from there. All right. Okay. I think those were all the only comments that I had. Does anyone have any matters that were not, that we didn't get in time for the agenda that they wanted to talk about?
Maria, did you want to bring up on the screen our schedule of the messages I had sent you? Do we want to show that to the commission?
Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Sorry.
And while you're doing that, Maria and I met and discussed how we would distribute those lovely message posters and in what order that Yana gave to us. And we came up with a schedule, a 4-time and quarterly schedule of when they would be presented. And we also developed a list of targeted places we thought would be high visibility and receptive to displaying them. And I gave Maria a 1-page document that had all 4 of them. See, there we go.
There we go.
And when we planned on distributing them. So we would start with one Wakefield. In mid-June, move on to the Birthday Cake Diversity. And that one actually, no, I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Let me see. Okay, the first one would go from January to March, one Wakefield. Then April to mid-June, Celebrate Diversity. And mid-June through September, because we like the diversity theme, but thought it would ease us into the Stronger Together for late mid-June to September. And then October through to December, Together We Rise. And we're really hoping by October through December, we will be together again. So we thought the Together theme was a good one for later in the year. So there are, and you can see on the bottom of each, there's Yana's name and our little Wakefield logo. So that credit is given where credit is due.
Yeah. Great. Yes, and Sherry and I talked last weekend about the various places that we're going to reach out to, ranging from businesses downtown, the library, I'm going to get in touch with Steve Mayo about putting them in the kiosks. And so we have a lot of different places that we're going to reach out to put those in. So
and of course we're a little limited because people aren't out and about as much. So we've chosen very selectively those places that we think will get the most notice because people are still going to those places. Plus they have prominent windows.
Right, exactly. All right, thanks, Sherry. Did anyone have anything else? Okay. All right, Benny, do you want to review the action list?
Okay, so what I have so far is just, let's see. Maria is going to add something to the policies and procedures having to do with the new member orientation. And then we'll discuss it next meeting. Maria is going to touch base with Colleen to find out what the next steps are with the book donations, and also possibly coordinating some kind of something with the time when you have to go meet the school committee.
Yep.
What else is in here? Faith is going to be meeting with the Black Student Union to coordinate more about the different students' involvement in the King Day event, and will keep us updated about that. And Maria is still following up about the electronic storage thing situation, and Maria is going to be contacting the different places you just said, the businesses and high visibility locations, to be sending the posters. Those are the only ones that I got.
I will be actually walking in town and distributing to specific places, and Maria's following up with kind of the places where you might give them several, because they have different, like you said, like Steve Mayo, the kiosk,
Mhm.
the more official locations.
And then I think the only other thing was the February Black History Month book reading.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy, did you have a question?
No, I was just curious about the active bystander training.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. We haven't scheduled it yet. They do have dates open in January and February. I wanted to just kind of no one here is required to go. Obviously, if you want to go, you absolutely can. I just wanted to get a sense from people. Do you think it's better to schedule it on a weekday or a weekend? And it would be like a 2-hour training.
A weekday, 2 hours? That would preclude people who work full time.
Well, I mean, it would be
Or
in the
students.
evening. I would have it in the evening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, the days sort of run together now.
Yeah.
don't
Oh, I
they?
know.
Yeah,
I get it.
I would say a weekday, because usually in the weekends is when, but then I don't know.
Okay.
Is there a
You
possibility
try to turn
save
off your
it?
computer and do something different, right?
Right. Kim, what was your question?
Is there an ability to record it? So if everybody decides like on a certain night, the rest of us can watch it, maybe not necessarily. I don't know if there's like a certification or something you get at the end, but at least if you can't attend, you can kind of watch it.
Right. I don't think so, just because they will train a certain number. It's not that you get a certification at the end, but in terms of like paying them for their work, if they are training 20 people, I think that would be the cutoff. That so probably not able to be recorded. But yeah, I was going to write back to them and just wasn't sure if people felt strongly one way or another.
Did you say we're going to do like 2 sessions? Could we do one on a weekend and one on a weekday, and people pick the date that works for them?
Definitely. Yep.
Do you think it'll be in January or February?
That's when she said that they had availability. So yeah, I feel fairly certain that they will be able to squeeze us in. And she said, we have a bunch of different dates. So she said, let me know which date you were thinking of, and she'll check with the trainers. So yeah, we should be able to get that scheduled within the next week or so, and I'll let people know. So
okay, I'm just thinking in terms of like marketing, like trying to talk up the MLK event. Do we want to try to wait until after so that we can have some lead up time to?
Yeah. So do you want me to aim for end of January into February? Would that make more sense?
Yeah. From my perspective, and probably the other people on the MLK event planning, it probably does, because we're going to be very busy those first 2 weeks of January.
Okay.
Wrapping up all the loose ends. And I agree too with Jennifer about publicity. It's going to be hard to drum it up in 2 weeks or whatever over the holidays and stuff if it's in the beginning of January. So
That's great. Thank you very much. And thank you for reminding me. I knew there was some other thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, and I was drawing a blank. So I appreciate the reminder. Nicole, did you have something else?
I'm sorry. Just wanted to know if I can work with you for the book picking out the books for the live reading or whoever you're working with. too. Like I
Absolutely.
would just love to be a part of that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to have you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Okay. Anyone else? Nope. Okay. I think that's everything. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
You have a motion to adjourn.
All right. And second?
Second.
All right. And taking a roll call, I vote yes. Sherry?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Benny?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Faith?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Kimberly?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a fantastic holiday. Goodbye to 2020. Here's to a healthy 2021 where we can actually see each other face to face. And yeah, thank you so much for everything. Have a great night.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks
Bye,
For an
everybody.
hour
Thanks,
meeting,
all.
Maria. Nice job.